We often turn to the internet for information, whether it's for a research project or for our personal use. But how do we know if the information is trustworthy? And how do we know if it's opinion or fact? I'm going to show you in this video some techniques that you can use to tell if information is trustworthy. Let's take a look at a social media post first. A lot of us rely on information from social media, but we need to be very careful when we get our news from social media. There's a lot of things out there, user-generated content that is not based on fact. Let's take a look at this particular post I found on Twitter. This is very recent, July 19th, by someone named David Ick. We can also always find out more information about this person. He says that he's a groundbreaking author and public speaker. He's not an expert on coronavirus, it doesn't look like. It doesn't look like he has a scientific background. But let's take a look at what he's saying right here. And he's saying, how can you test for and produce a vaccine for a virus you have never isolated and purified and shown to exist? You can't, it's a scam. Now, there really aren't many people anymore claiming that coronavirus is a scam. That was an issue early on, and I had students in the spring that thought that coronavirus was a hoax. And I think most of us would just laugh at this particular post. But let's go ahead and use it as an example and find out more information to see if this is trustworthy. One thing we can do right from the start is to Google the author. So let's take a look at David Ick and see what we can find out about him. And this is Wikipedia. And it says that he is an English conspiracy theorist. So, I don't know, would you want to believe him? I don't think so. Let's see what else has been written about this person. Here we have the BBC, which is a reputable source, saying that he has been kicked off of Facebook for misleading health information. We have The Guardian, which is also another reputable newspaper, talking about him being deleted from YouTube. So it looks like he has, and this is also for spreading COVID-19 disinformation. So it looks like he hasn't been thrown off Twitter yet, but we'll see what happens. So let's go ahead and turn this into a question. Has the virus for COVID-19 been isolated and identified? And here right off the top we do have an article. This is the National Institute of Health. It's a government source, and generally those are trustworthy sources. So here we have National Library of Medicine, and this is a true link. We can see the domain right up here. So this is from February, saying that yes, it has been isolated from a patient. So we can see very easily that that is not true. Another way that you can check is sometimes there are people that in the comments will show that it's not true. And I happen to find right here someone that actually linked to that article I just showed you. So obviously this story is false. Now let's take a look at a website that's from an unfamiliar organization or source. So I don't really know much about natural news, for example, and they're talking here about how 5G can cause coronavirus patients to die from oxygen deprivation. The first thing I would do is go back to the main page and kind of get an idea of this source a little bit. And it looks a little sensational to me. That's a red flag right there. But one thing that I would do right off the bat is Google the organization. You can go to the About page sometimes. Let's see, here's About Us. But they could write anything here. But again, let's take a look at just Googling this particular site and see what others have written. There's the site itself. There's information here from Wikipedia. And Wikipedia, along with other things, as long as you look in other sources, can generally be okay. Here's somebody saying that he's everybody's favorite Uber quack. This is one from the Daily Beast, a fairly reputable source. You could check them out on that media source chart that I gave you. Ars Technica is generally a good source. Another person banned on Facebook. Okay, that's not good. So again, conspiracy theorists. And there's so many out there. And what we mean by a conspiracy theory is making claims that are not backed by evidence. If there's no evidence, then it's a conspiracy theory. Here's another one from Forbes, which is an established news source, Natural Nonsense. I don't even need to click these links. I can see right off the bat that we shouldn't trust this site. But there's another way that we can also look and check the reliability of a source. So let's go back to this article. What references are they using here? Let's analyze this source. So where is he getting his information? He's using this source here. Let's check this out. Well, this link goes to his own source. You cannot use your own website as a reference. That doesn't make sense. What we could do, though, is we could Google this guy right here. So I've Googled the name of Dr. Cameron Kyle Siddell, and after a bit of searching, I found this article in BuzzFeed News, which is actually a pretty good source, tends to be reliable information. And this is an article about pseudoscientists, so people who are saying they're experts, spreading misinformation. And there's a section at the end called the misquoted. And so right here we have Dr. Cameron Kyle Siddell. And in this article it talks about how his information has been misstated by conspiracy theorists. So he said nothing about 5G causing coronavirus. Another way to check information is to go to a fact-checking site, and this week I've given you a list that includes many of these sites. One of the best-known sites is factcheck.org. This is a project of the Annenberg Public Policy Center. I'm at their featured articles, and what they often do is they will fact-check information by politicians. One of my favorite sections here is the debunking false stories, and you will find a lot of posts that you've probably seen circulating. This is a great place to start, and just keeps you informed of what kind of fake news is going around and what the actual facts are. They also have coronavirus coverage right here, so you can go directly to misinformation about coronavirus. For example, we have a story here about meme misconstrues efficacy of face masks. Now, I've seen a lot of this on social media. So here we have the full story on what it's about and what the facts are. So this is a great source when you find potentially misinformation on the web, you can get the facts, and you can see here that fact check actually gives you good sources. It may still be difficult for you to know which source is reliable, and I highly recommend that you use this interactive media bias chart that I linked to. And as you can see, especially the news sources that are in this green area are going to be your best sources. As you move from left to right, this will be how they are on the political spectrum. So in this area here, you generally are going to have more of an unbiased view. Once you get down further, these are often still good sources down right in about this area, but they are more analysis and opinion. I recommend that you stay away from sources that are in this red area. These sources have serious reliability issues or are extreme. Keep in mind, misinformation plays on our emotions and beliefs to promote anger and hate. So check your emotions before sharing posts. Check to make sure they're true, and if they aren't, consider sharing evidence that disproves the claims being made.